Hello my dear students, how are you all? I hope you all fine. We are going to learn ionic radius. How to find ionic radius. What is ionic radius? Radius of an ion. What are the ions? We know that cation, anion. Positive charge ion is called cation. Negative charge ion is called anion. Okay. But already we know that what is atomic radii or atomic radius. Radius of an atom is called atomic radius. Radius of ion is called ionic radius. Okay students? Yes. What is ionic radius? The distance between the nucleus. The same definition. Already we may studied about atomic radius. You know what is the definition for atomic radius? The distance between the center of the nucleus and outermost cell electrons, valency electron. The same way, small changes we can change in the definition. The ionic radius can be defined as distance between the nucleus, that means center of nucleus, okay, distance between the nucleus and the electron cloud of that ion. What do you mean electron cloud? Electron present in up to the valency cell, okay, wherever the electron present, that area is called electron cloud. Okay, so ionic radius can be defined as the distance between the nucleus and the electron cloud of that ion is called ionic radius. Okay sir, how to find the ionic radius? So according to Pauling method, we are going to calculate the ionic radius. What method we are going to use, my dear students? Pauling method, right? So Pauling given only for univalent crystal. What do you mean univalent crystal? For example, sodium chloride, well known example. What is sodium chloride, my dear students? Our table salt, that only called sodium chloride. If we ionize this crystal, how it will ionize? Na plus Cl minus. Okay. So one ion which having plus means what? Plus 1. So ionic charge plus 1. Here minus 1. That's why that is example for univalent crystal. Uni means 1. The valency of ion 1 means that is univalent ion. Both positive and negative ion, cation and anion having plus 1 minus 1. Univalent crystal means that is called a univalent crystal. Sodium chloride. We can write one more example. Silver bromide, silver chloride, sodium fluoride. Likewise, we can write many examples for univalent crystal. According to Pauling method, for univalent crystal, in that ions we are going to find the ionic radius. Okay. Who assumed? Pauling assumed that ion present in the lattice. What do you mean lattice? Already I told in the previous classes, the ions may present in the crystals in a regular arranged manner. That is called crystal lattice. That crystal lattice arranged in perfect spheres. He assumed that in the lattice atoms or ions present in the perfect spheres. That is his assumption. According to his assumption, he took the internuclei distance. What do you mean internuclear distance or interionic distance? This is very important. Listen, my dear students. Interionic distance. What do you mean interionic distance? Already we know that interatomic distance. What do you mean interatomic distance? The distance between the two atom nucleus. Okay. First atom, second atom. This is the first atom's nucleus, second atom nucleus. The distance between the two nucleus, internuclear distance or interatomic distance. The same way, the distance between the two ions is called interionic distance. For example, we can consider this is an cation, this is an anion. So the distance between the cation and anion is called interionic distance. By using the interionic distance, if he assumed because of that perfect sphere of that atoms, we can draw that, or we can write the new formula according to Pauling method, that is distance between the ion, interionic distance denoted with D, okay, is equal to radius of cation plus radius of anion. What's the first formula according to Pauling method? Interatomic distance D is equal to radius of cation plus radius of anion. We can take it into first equation, right? This is our first equation. But he also assumed another concept. What is another concept? We know that inert gases, noble gases, okay? So which ions having noble gas electronic configuration, its atomic radius inversely proportional to its effective nuclear charge. Sir, you are a chemistry teacher, you can tell like this. How we can understand? Simply we can understand by using the formula. What is the formula? Radius of cation is inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge of that cation. Now I can explain, my dear students. Listen, what is his assumption? First assumption, all the atom ion present in the lattice becoming perfect spheres. Another assumption, which ions having noble gas configuration. What is noble gas configuration? Completely filled electronic configuration only called noble gas configuration. Example I will give, right? So which ions having the noble gas configuration, its radius inversely proportional to its effective nuclear charge. If you take cation, the radius of cation inversely proportional to its effective nuclear charge, okay? In case radius of anion, if you take, how you write that formula? Radius of anion inversely proportional to its effective nuclear charge of that anion. Are you clear, my students? Okay. So the second equation we can consider, this is an second equation, this is an third equation. So we are completed three formula. First one is D is equal to Rc plus. Rc plus means radius of cation plus radius of anion. Here, according to Pauling's assumption, radius of ionic crystals which having noble gas configuration is inversely proportional to its effective nuclear charge. If you take cation, it is inversely proportional to its effective nuclear charge of cation. Radius of anion inversely proportional to its effective nuclear charge of anion. Okay, I told you, I will give one example for noble gases configuration. We can take sodium fluoride. Okay, simply if you take sodium, what's the atomic number of sodium? 11. What's the atomic number of fluorine? 9. Okay, so sodium 11 electrons are present, but here we are going to take as ion. Ion means how the sodium will form ion? Na plus. The same way fluorine, F minus. What do you mean Na plus? Whether it is gained an electron or loss of an electron. First one, Na plus, loss of an electron. Second one, gain of an electron. Why I am saying loss of electron or gain of electron? Depending upon the charge, I am saying loss or gain. If having the ion having the plus charge, I will say which loss of electron. How much plus charge is there? Only 1 plus. So 1 electron is loss. The second one, fluorine gained minus 1 charge. So we can say 1 electron is gained, right? So depending upon the charge, I am saying loss of electron or gain of electron. Okay, come to the point. Noble gas configuration. That is the assumption of Pauling, you know. Yes. The ions having the noble gas configuration, then only we can apply in this formula. Radius of anion, cation inversely proportional its effective nuclear charge. Okay. So we have to prove, right, whether it's having the noble gas configuration or not. So Na means 11. Na plus means now it's having only 10 electron. So how you write? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Completely fill the electronic configuration. That is nothing but electronic configuration of neon. Neon is nothing but inert gas. Then you maybe think about fluorine. Yes. What is the atomic number of fluorine? 9. One more electron is gained. Totally 10 electron. 10 electron means what is the electronic configuration? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Same neon electronic configuration. So it is the assumption of Pauling method. What is that? Sodium or fluorine in its ionic state, which having noble gas configuration. What are the ions having noble gas configuration? Its radius inversely proportional to its effective nuclear charge. Okay. According to that, we have written equation 2 and 3. Now remaining only mathematical calculation by using equation 2 and 3. Actually, if you have your 11th book in old edition, it was given equation 1 and 2. That is wrong. You have to change. Here in your book given 1, you have to change into 2. Right. So next we are going to divide equation 2 by 3. What is equation 2? Radius of cation inversely proportional to effective nuclear charge. So I can write radius of cation divided by radius of anion. Equation 3 is equal to, which is in division, you know. So 1 by effective nuclear charge of cation divided by 1 by effective nuclear charge of anion. So how will you write? Effective nuclear charge of anion divided by effective nuclear charge of cation. So because already in the inverse position, if you divide again, it will come like this. So this is equation 4. Yes, my dear. By using this 4 equation, we could find the ionic radius of an univalent crystal lattice. I hope you may understand. By explaining one example, we can clear about this concept. Okay. First, you remember these 4 equations. First one is interatomic distance is equal to radius of cation, radius of anion. That is first equation. The second one, radius of cation inversely proportional with its effective nuclear charge. Radius of anion inversely proportional to its effective nuclear charge of anion. By dividing equation 2 by 3, we can able to find radius of cation anion is equal to effective nuclear charge of anion divided by effective nuclear charge of cation. One more relation already we know, my dear students. Previous class itself we know that the general formula to find the effective nuclear charge is equal to what? Z minus S. What is Z? Atomic number. What is S? Screening constant. So if you know the screening constant value, we can able to find the effective nuclear charge of anion, effective nuclear charge of cation. If you apply that value, we can able to find any one radius by applying this equation in the equation 1. So all those things we can learn by taking one example, right? Now we are going to take sodium fluoride as an example to find the ionic radius. Sodium fluoride. What's the interionic distance given in our book? I hope interatomic distance D value is given 231 picometer. What's the D value is given in the problem itself? 231 picometer, right? PM means picometer. What's the formula? How you write according to sodium fluoride? Already we know that 5 equations, you want to apply for sodium fluoride. First equation, the distance of ionic interionic distance D is equal to radius of cation. Here which one is the cation? Na plus. Then radius of anion. What's the anion here? F minus. So we got equation 1. Next, radius of cation sodium Na plus is equal to effective nuclear charge of cation. What is cation? Na plus. Then as usual radius of F minus is equal to 1 by effective nuclear charge of fluorine. Now as usual 2 divided by 3. The final equation is radius of Na plus divided by radius of F minus is equal to effective nuclear charge of fluorine divided by effective nuclear charge of Na plus. Right? So this is our equation 2. By using equation 1 and 2, we can able to find the ionic radius. Here one more information, my dear students. Effective nuclear charge of fluorine and sodium also we must know by using this formula. Effective nuclear charge of cation anion Z minus S. By using that formula, already they found the radius of effective nuclear charge of Na plus is nothing but 4.15. The same way, effective nuclear charge of fluorine minus 4.15. Now you can apply these values in this formula. So you will get the radius value. 1 minute, my dear students. Actually this is screening constant value. Screening constant value for Na plus, screening constant value for F minus. So in the above formula, if you apply the screening constant value, you can able to find the effective nuclear charge. So this calculation they didn't give in the book, even though we will try to find effective nuclear charge for sodium. Na plus is equal to what? Z means atomic number of sodium, 11 minus 4.15. So subtract the value 11 minus 4.1, that is 6.85. The same way effective nuclear charge of fluorine, how do you find? Atomic number of fluorine 9, then 4.15. So you will get 4.85. Now you got effective nuclear charge of Na plus, effective nuclear charge of F minus. Now you can apply this value in the equation 2. So radius of Na plus divided by radius of F minus is equal to, what is the effective nuclear charge of fluorine? F minus 4.85 divided by effective nuclear charge of sodium 6.85. What's the division value? If you divide in your home, it will come 0.71. Okay, my dear, by using this relation, we can bring the effective nuclear charge of any one ion, right? How do you rearrange this formula? First you write again, radius of Na plus divided by radius of F minus is equal to 0.71, right? Now you rearrange it. So radius of Na plus is equal to 0.71 into radius of F minus. This equation 3 apply in the equation 1. What is equation 1? Radius of Na plus radius of F minus is equal to D. What is D value according to the question? 231 picometer. In this equation, if you apply Rna value, that means radius of cation, you apply 0.71 radius of fluorine. Already we have one more radius. Radius of fluorine is equal to 231 picometer. Now both having the same radius of F minus, you take it out, remaining you have 0.71 plus 1 is equal to 231 picometer. Now you add this, you will get 1 point. Radius of fluorine is fluorine into 1.71 is equal to 231 picometer. So the radius of fluorine is equal to 231 divided by 1.71. The final value radius of fluorine is 135.1 picometer. Now you found the radius of fluorine, that is 135.1 picometer. That value if you apply in the above equation, you can find the radius of sodium also. So radius of Na plus 135.1 is equal to 231 picometer. Then radius of Na plus is equal to 231 minus 135.1. So what is the radius of sodium ion? Na plus equal to 95.9 picometer. So finally you found the radius of fluorine is, where we found radius of fluorine is 135.1 picometer. Radius of sodium is 95.9 picometer. Okay my dear students, if you are unable to follow continuously, you pause it, again you replay, you can able to understand. I hope you all understand. Thank you very much.